All right, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Go With The Flow. I'm your host, Folarin Okulaja, here with a special guest. I'm surprised it took this long for the homie to come on. This right here is my co-CEO, my co-CIO, my co-founder, just the homie. We got Mohammed in the building, but he goes by Mo, but Mohammed.
My brother.
Welcome to the show, man. How you doing?
Good, man. No complaints. Busy weekend.
Busy weekend, bro.
We was running around, getting content. We had our first photo shoot. It was amazing. Nothing like coming to visit New York, seeing the guys. Only thing I have to complain about is New York is just a bit dirty, bro.
A bit. New York is probably the dirtiest city in the world. You walk in piss every other second. There's always trash on the ground, bro. I got on the train from when I left you guys on Sunday or whatever the night of the Knicks game to head back to the crib, but someone was like, "Oh, pull up to the spot." I was like, "Fine," and I was walking. The amount of rats I encountered, I was literally like doing a light jog because I was like, "I can't do it. It's hella trash on the streets."
I know you've seen Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like that rat is everywhere, bro.
Yeah, bro.
We was on the subway yesterday. It was me, Grant, and them. Like we were just like walking around, bro. I seen a rat like bigger than my bicep. I was like, no. I'm going back to Chicago today.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been smooth, bro. It's been great. It's been great.
And so, like you just mentioned, you're here for Reps Capital. Mm-hmm. You're wearing the shirt. I'm wearing the shirt. This is a brand we've both been promoting on our Instagrams, but we felt like we needed an episode to actually just dive into things and tell the people what the brand is. So I'll let you get started. Just start with kind of like origin of the brand. Yeah. You could say, actually, yeah, I'll let you say your origin story of Reps Capital.
No, definitely. No, I appreciate you, bro. So Mohammed Alausa, originally from Chicago. I actually talked about how we met.
Yeah,
so
actually, my bad. First of all, that's on me. I wanted to jump too quickly ahead. I like that. He's good at this because I did want you to do a quick intro and talk about how we met. My fault. I jumped ahead. Please start there, and then we'll jump ahead. Thank you.
Me and Flo know each other so well. He didn't even feel the need to do that because we see each other like every day.
That's it. And I feel like the people know you too because if you see me, you see him. He always on my story.
Mo.
That's it. Flo and Mo.
But yeah, so Mohammed Alausa went to Amherst College, studied econ and math there, now work in finance, blah, blah, blah. But me and Flo actually met via my good friend Grant.
Shout out Game Time.
Game Time for real. So me and Grant played together at Amherst. He was my captain my sophomore year. Was a great captain, good guy. And Grant and Flo meet in New York when they're moving here, both working at Goldman. And him, Flo, and Obi. Obi, I miss you, brother. So then I would always come down because by the time I was a junior, Grant, Yaya, Bo, all my friends were gone. Not that I have friends at Amherst, but people I was really close with, my close teammates. So Grant would be like, yo, just pull up to New York on the weekends. You know, Amherst is in Western Mass, not always super lit. So I was like, bet. So I come down, and then Grant was like, bro, both my roommates are Nigerian. You're going to love them. I'm also Nigerian. And I was like, say less.
Say less.
I remember the first weekend I came down, I met Flo and Obi. I was like, yeah, bro, Grant, we don't need you anymore, bro. I'm gonna be third musketeer. We don't even need you. So me and Flo hit it off right away because we went out that night. I think we did like brunch the next day, just a lot of good conversations. And we just resonated with each other. Like Flo, like Nigerian guy, grew up here, goes back to Nigeria. We have really similar backgrounds. So you're able to like connect with people in that nature. So we were kind of just like messing around. Like we would go hoop on Sundays at the Brooklyn Raiders. It'll get competitive.
I'll be locking you up sometimes. Don't lie to the people.
I'm not talking on the screen. Come watch the games. 3-on-3 tournament, Reps Cap, June 15th.
Boom.
So we would go hoop and we would just do a lot of fun stuff. And then there was a lot of times where we would go out and then we would just talk about like, we would like form shoot and like reps, getting it in. Like we would, even when I would go back to school, I'm like, yeah, reps, got to go back to school and get right, you know. And I was still hooping at that point in time. And Flo, of course, worked at Goldman. That summer, I think I was at private equity firm in Boston, then went to KKR for a summer after that. So I was just very much like, we were in a state where we really felt like capital, investing in yourself was super important. But it didn't flourish from there. It kind of started as something a bit facetious, like just between me and Flo, like Reps Capital, the name came up in 2023. And then fast forward, we go to Nigeria. All the mandem go to Nigeria. So we went this past December, and I'm talking like it was me, Flo, Obi, Grant, Shaq, Fru, a bunch of my. So we were all together, and then we were just. I'm sorry, guys. We said crazy motion.
That trip, we need. Honestly, the text I just sent, we need all 5 of us on this podcast just to do a recap of that trip alone.
Brother,
that was,
brother. Like we should have vlogged it actually.
We should have vlogged. I feel like there's so much missed opportunity we've
I know.
had
Maybe
for
it was good
content.
we didn't vlog it though.
Maybe.
But we're gonna I think inshallah we might go back this December. We should like get the little GoPro.
100%.
But we just did so much. We went like shopping. We went out. We just did so many things together. And then Reps Capital really kind of came into it. And a little bit separately, I've always loved fashion. Like you guys know me. I've always like have had a tune like really love expressing myself via my clothes, and it's bigger, more it's more about not really impressing people but impressing yourself. Like I like literally being in my closet. Like the best part of going out to me is being in my closet and looking at my wardrobe and putting it on and then be like, wow, I put that on, and then going out, it's like now I gotta showcase it.
Yeah. But then when you get compliments too, it's just a whole nother feeling.
So Flo also super fresh guy, so we were just talking. And then in Nigeria, I can't remember who said it first. Like, maybe you guys should do like a clothing brand. I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, no, like this is like kind of like just me and Flo's thing. This is like it's gonna be our thing. And then I don't think much of it. Like I don't think much of it at all. We leave, we get back from Nigeria. Flo calls me, yo, bro, like we should do this clothing brand. I was like, huh? I was like, what you mean? I was like, because I was still getting my master's at Northwestern too. I was working. I was like, bro, like I don't know if I got the bandwidth. He was like, bro. Trust me, let's just go into it and do it. Like, and before that, we had a lot of serious men-to-men talks, like growth talks and friendships you should have in cohesive environments. And Flo made a point that he wants to lean into taking more risks the following year. And we're like both young men. Like, why shouldn't we take a risk? Especially if we feel like there's a way for us to kind of come up off it, and not even just come up like monetarily, but come up as like people, like grow as men. So Flo was like, yo, let's do it. And I just trusted him. Like my guy was like, let's get it. Like let's jump into it. So that's how Reps Cap originated. I would love to hear your perspective on it though.
That's a great story. But first of all, there's so much on there that you touched on that I want to double click on. That's such a like work statement. Let's double click. Let's double click on that.
Per my last email.
Yeah. Even those, just the first thing you said about the first time we met and just that instant connection. Yeah. It's crazy because it was the same way with Grant.
Yeah.
And when I think about, because someone asked me the question the other day, they were like, I might have made a comment of like, oh, maybe I don't go out as much, blah, blah, blah. And then they asked the question of like, oh, it feels like guys at a certain point, they just don't need any more friends or they're not looking for new friends. And I was like, it's not that I don't need new friends or I'm not looking for new friends. But when I found my people, the connection was just so instant and so clear initially that it was like, it's going to be hard for me to go out and like get the same type of bond with somebody else. And so like when I go out, it's such a like, you can't force friendships. And like there's people that I'll come across and it's like, do we vibe? Do we not vibe? All my homies, like I think of like my boy Max, who I went to his engagement last night. Yeah. Day one, instant connection. Grant, instant connection. You, instant connection. Obi, like you could go down the line. So I'm very much so like, you don't really grow into friendships with dudes. Like I meet you, I either know like this gonna be my dude for life or not. Yeah. So it was very cool the way our bond just kind of formed in that way. Another thing that you spoke on, very short, when you guys went to Amherst, there's a statement I need you to either confirm or deny. Grant says that there was, he said, I'm nervous. There's a party called Pajami Jam. And Grant claims that it was the greatest party in all of New England, maybe even the Northeast America. Can you confirm or deny that? First of all, tell it, and this is a slight detour and then we'll get back, but you brought up Amherst and I want to quickly ask this question. Pajami Jam, confirm or deny? What is it? How is it?
You know, like when you hear, like, you know the Project X movie?
Yeah.
Like you watch it, but like you're not experiencing it, but what you hear is like, wow, like that was lit. So Pajami Jam, just to be clear, I never went to Pajama Jam. But what I heard from the Mandem...
Would the footage say, confirm what you're saying?
Oh my God. Confirm's like an understatement. It's almost like ineffable to describe what the Mandem was telling me. They were reporting back to me like guys was in heaven. So Pajama Jam was, I can tell you about it. So we Amherst was in the 5-college consortium. So there was 5 schools. It was Amherst College. It was Hampshire, Mount Holyoke, UMass. I'm forgetting one of them. Why can't I remember the school? Hampshire.
They must not matter.
Yeah, really. No disrespect to you guys.
That's when you said no disrespect. I said disrespectfully.
But there was 5 schools. So there was one party called Pajama Jam. It kind of died out like right after COVID. So, but it was like where you go, but you go in your pajamas. And that's very subjective to folks. Like some folks is like, yo, I'm wearing like a nice 2-piece. I got the checker joint on, some flip-flops. yeah, that one was going on. So, you know, people come and like, you know, like not that many clothes and, you know, music was great. It's like a big, and in those spaces, it's very like non-ethnic, you know, which is cool. That's why you go to college, you want to meet new people, do all that things of that nature. But it was off the charts. Like Grant and those guys went, Bo and those guys went. But, you know, and it's crazy. Like those guys would be on their best behavior. They were just like, wow, we're surprised in Western Massachusetts that something like this could even arise.
Yeah, everybody was on their best behavior all the time.
Look, all the time.
Sure.
Let me tell you something. The coaches weren't going for none of that.
Fair.
Nothing's, if anything comes back to the coaches, it cooked. So, and also, I think during that time too, that party was most likely in season. Mm-hmm. So guys would kind of go and come back. But a lot of the non-athletes would go and have a great time. But it kind of died out after COVID. So I never experienced Pajama Jam.
Okay, fair. So you can't confirm.
I can't confirm.
Anytime it comes up, Grant claims it's the best party in all of the Northeast, maybe even New England. So.
I think even Fru hates, he doesn't like Massachusetts. Like I can say that confidently. I think even he would have good things to say about Pajama Jam, which shows like, the magnitude of it. Okay, fair enough. Okay, so to get back to your initial statement, my perspective on Reps Cap, a lot of that is very much so aligned. Mm-hmm. It's interesting because I've actually always, and this is one of those things I never actually like told people out loud, but I've always wanted to start a clothing brand for years. Wow. But it's just, I thought the barrier to entry was so high. Yeah. And that's one thing we could talk about. I think honestly, I don't think there's a barrier to entry. Mm-hmm. Although it's funny because when we were trying to get into this, I would look up a bunch of YouTube videos and there would be people who would post these videos that's like, how to start a clothing brand for $500. Let me tell you, buddy. That is not a realistic budget. Never. That is not happening. You are going to need to put 20x that. Maybe.
A little more into that. But essentially, again, we had met initially back in 2023, had this instant vibe. We had our, like that Reps Cap I don't even know which one of us initially said. I think I might have said it.
Probably.
I don't want to take credit, but
probably.
But again, because we were both in finance at that time. I'm not anymore. You still are. And so we had that phrase from day one where we just kind of kept using that, like Reps Capital, blah blah blah. Again, it started more of as a facetious joke, but then as we started to, again, Nigeria was a big thing for us because you forget how these conversations come up. Yeah. But someone mentions, oh, you guys both into fashion. You guys should start a brand. It's like, oh, what would it be called? It's like, we got the name right there. What would the meaning behind it be? Mm-hmm. I'm someone who, we both are big in like self-improvement, investing in yourself. Absolutely. And just the idea that like anything you want to be great at, you need to put that work into it. Absolutely. And so the name just aligns perfectly that way. Because just to break it down explicitly, like reps, it's repetitions. Mm-hmm. You're putting in that work. It doesn't matter what you do. You could be a podcaster, a photographer, a football player, a musician, it doesn't matter. If you put that reps in, you could get better. And then capital, just the idea that if you invest in yourself, you're going to get that compounding return over time. Mm-hmm. The same way, if you are a hedge fund or you invest in the stock market, you are going to get that compounding return over time. So that's where the name came from. And I distinctly remember we had a phone call. It was at like 6:30 on like a Monday or Tuesday. I remember I was still at Goldman. This was in January, and I remember where I was in one of the booths, and we just started like talking about it and like, oh, these are some of ideas of clothing we can do and like the concept behind the brand. And I remember getting so excited, bro, just like about the potential. Yeah. And it's one of those things where I think until you. The feeling of creating something, even I get the same feeling with this podcast because I'm creating every time that I sit down. Same with the brand where it's like it was initially in our head, we put it to paper, and the fact that we're actually wearing the stuff now is just it's one of the coolest feelings and something everyone should definitely experience. But essentially, my recollection of us starting the brand was the exact same way. We both had this initial concept that. The name Reps Capital that we used, and we're like, oh, this could actually be something bigger. And then it always goes from like, oh, you know, we feel like I like my style. Yeah. I think you got good style. It's like, oh, let's make, because we initially, remember, we wanted to make like basketball, some sort of jerseys for Nigeria. Exactly. But then we didn't do that on time. I'm
kind of happy we didn't actually. Yeah. We might have started off so I did, but like,
Yeah. But then it's like initially, oh, let's do it for ourselves. Oh, let's do it for our friends. Yeah. Oh, wait a second. Maybe we could do it and other people will like it and then buy it. So that's how Reps Capital was born. So even fast forward to, even just kind of walking through the whole process. Yeah. There's so many steps to launching a brand. Absolutely. Where initially was like, okay, what do we want our logo to be? Yep. We'd initially created one that in hindsight was not a great logo for
Always constant growth and iteration.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, okay, we need a logo. We need to create an LLC. We need to do all these different things. So I'm just bank account. So I'm just curious from your perspective over this journey of the past couple months, what part has been the most fun to work on, and what part would you say has kind of been the most challenging that you didn't expect?
Absolutely. Those are that. I don't want to forget my train of thought. I'm gonna put this aside. For that question, I think what's been the most fun, like by far, has just been like us like designing the clothes. Like even when I was on the phone with you, I was like, Flo, like I just want to design the clothes. Like if we could design the clothes and then like we could figure out the rest. I think the business aspect portion is also very unique to the clothing brand because it's objectively an oversaturated market.
Yeah,
like
the
barrier to entry,
podcasting.
the barrier to entry to make clothing is actually like it's cheese, bro. Like it's food. Like it's not that difficult. But creating a great clothing brand is extremely hard. You know, there's actually this book called Good to Great by Jim Collins. Phenomenal read. I recommend everyone that's watching this give it a read. Talks about the difference between great companies and good companies and how like they're mutually exclusive. You can't be a good company. You can either be a good or a great company. And that's where it's super easy to be a good company. Like you meet your targets every quarter, you have quarterly results. Like you're right there, you're breaking even or in the green a bit. But to be a great company where you're scaling at a very high rate, very difficult. Mm-hmm. And they have like case studies of a bunch of companies like Walgreens, Pimco, things of that nature from 2000 all the way on later. It's like a 20-year time frame is in the book. But I think the most fun part and the most gratifying part is designing something tough. One, you liking it, and that's being like, yes, it's good. And two, going outside and people that don't know me are like, yo, bro, like that's tough. Like that's one second.
Bless you.
That's tough. Like, where can I get that? And it's genuine. Like, it's not like, it's people I don't know. It's not like it's like my brother or your brother, or like my sister, or you know, it's like for example, prime example, me and Flo, we went, one of my guys, Jay, he hosted us at his crib for the Knicks game.
Shout out Jay.
Shout out Jay. Elite NBA stylist. Get with him if you need to. And he invited his boy Dre, and Dre invited his family. So basically, these are like 2 degrees of separation that like they have no idea who I am. Flo leaves. I'm about to step out. I'm wearing reps cap stuff. One of the guys like wouldn't let me leave. He's like, bro, like where'd you get that from? Like, show me the gram. I'm trying to order it. And I was like beating around the bush. I tell Flo I get kind of like a bit nervous. I'm like telling people it's my brand because I just want them to be genuine, you know? But if they said that without knowing me, it has to be genuine, obviously. Yeah. That's just kind of like the OCD in me. And I was like, yeah, it's my brand. And he was like, bro, like I'm coming to the pop-up no matter what. June 14th pop-up in East Village, 11:30 a.m. He's like, I'm coming. He pulled out his phone, put the pop-up date in his calendar, and was like, yeah, and turn on our post notifications for our Instagram.
Sheesh.
And like, for me, it's like the principle of that is deep. Like that means he saw a clothing item, right? And liked it so much, he would alter his day just to come and pick it up.
Yeah.
Like that's like really impactful to me where it's like, I think making change, like Reps Capital, as we said, it's like slow increments, but once you see those slow increments build up, it's beautiful. Because we've been working on this for like almost 6 months. Bro.
Yeah, it's been some time.
Where we've been talking, we've been sending samples, getting the wrong color on stuff, sizing isn't good. And that's been the hard part where it's like the bottleneck of timing, of course, has been a bit frustrating. And I think the second hardest part is just like really trying to step outside of my body and be like, yo, like, what are fits that I like or fits that just people will like? Because like you said, Reps Capital is going to be for everyone. Yep. Anyone is trying to grow and be better, whether you're a plumber, janitor, an artist, a basketball player, a lawyer, a doctor, a philanthropist. We want everyone to be in Reps Capital because once you invest in yourself, you can invest in others around you. Yeah,
that's the most important investment you can make. But I agree 100% with what you just said. That feeling of, I remember the first time, the first, because we ordered it to my crib here in New York, when the first samples arrived, just that excitement of like unboxing it and opening it, and the feeling of when it fits exactly like you want it to. Absolutely. That excitement is just next to none. But then also I remember when one of the things we got, when color wasn't great, and then also
the color was horrible,
the color wasn't, but then also when the fit wasn't initially what we wanted. Yeah. And just, okay, like now we need to get back in the lab, and just the amount of attention to detail that goes into things. Because initially I'd only sent the manufacturer in China, which I'll get to manufacturers in China and tariffs and all that in a second.
Donald.
But, hey man, but initially I sent like 3 measurements. It was maybe like across the chest, down the back, whatever, and they didn't get it right. Literally the next time I took every single measurement of a shirt that we wanted to fit like and sent it to them. And the way they cooked that shit up perfectly.
Bro.
They are talented.
Also, pause. Shout out, honestly, guys, shout out Flo. Like, operations has been seamless. Like, man, we went to go look at 2 spots for the pop-up. One of them was kind of horrible, but the other one was phenomenal. Like, it was exactly what we needed. The photo shoot guy, he found him, set it up. We had, like that's what I'm saying. I think, this is kind of a non sequitur or a tangent, but any team that you have, you want to have teammates that complement your weaknesses. Like Flo, Princeton guy, like y'all know he perfectionist. Me, like I care about certain stuff, but certain stuff I'm laissez-faire and certain things. So it helps. Like we can kind of, it's like we can help hold each other accountable and push each other to focus. Like, yo, this brand is for the people.
Yeah,
and it's been so helpful. Like we order stuff to Flo's crib, come to New York, everything's planned out. And we just kind of cook together, and like our networks together help, our personalities, everything helps. But I got to give a shout out to Flo, man. Like it's been legendary. It's been legendary.
Appreciate you, bro. But even exactly like you just said, and I'm glad you brought up that point of the person you do it with.
Yep.
First of all, I wouldn't recommend doing it by yourself, and that's actually advice I got from shout out Kareem. He is, why am I blanking on the name of his brand? Buttery
One that we bought.
Yeah.
Buttery Soft, Rare Concepts.
Rare Concept, thank you. Shout out Kareem, shout out Rare Concepts. Because when I was going through this process, one thing I did is I reached out to everybody who I know that has a brand, just like pick their brain about things. So shout out Kareem, shout out Jordan, shout out Mike Press, all these people who helped me out. And Kareem was like, yeah, he started Rare Concepts by himself. And he was like, if you can have somebody to do it with you, make sure, because it's a lot to do by yourself.
Yeah,
and I can't imagine doing all this by myself, both financially as well as just all the different aspects of it. But we're different, or we have like what's the word? Concentric circles. And there's our overlap.
Princeton.
Our overlap is so key between like the network, the style, the kind of long-term vision. But there's things we're both very different at. Like, I'm a little more organized than you, probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
So you know what's funny, guys? Guys, I have a story to share. I didn't think Flo was kind of like organized. Remember Nigeria, bro? So, prime example. So, and this is what like you learn. Shout out Shaq. But I'm exposing you right now, bro. So we were, I hosted a couple people in Nigeria or whatever. So I was like, Shaq had come first to Nigeria. So I was like, okay, I gave him the key to like the apartment or whatever. I was like, yo, like take the key whenever you come in and out. Cause we would do a lot together, but we would also have stuff like Shaq had motion, Flo had motion, whatever. So I was like, all right, Shaq, like take the key, don't lose it. Cause we would get back home so late, no one would be awake to open the door. No one be awake. It's like, I'm talking like 4, 5, 6. So I was like, Shaq, take the key. So after a couple of days, Flo comes, stays in my place, cool. And then I was like, yo, Flo, I gave Shaq the key because he just seemed a bit more responsible to me.
That shit.
I was so wrong. Could not have been, and Shaq, don't get me wrong, super responsible, super successful, but he be bugging because he lost the key the first night, looks at me, he goes, Mo, like, I think I lost it. It's 5 a.m. We're outside of the apartment. I'm like, no, bro, you have to be kidding. Flo, look at me like, bro, I told you.
I told you so.
So yeah, Flo's
I'm quite organized. I stay on top. The attention to detail matters, but we're very complimentary in that sense. It's like the things that I don't even, actually, honestly, some of it is exciting. Like, set up the LLC, make sure the domain is right, get the bank account ready. Yep. All these things when you care a little bit more about the clothing, obviously I do as well, but we're just so complimentary in that way. And so that's just general. It doesn't matter what business you're starting, whether it's some major company, whether it's a clothing brand, the person you do it with, you guys need to complement each other's strengths. Absolutely. And you guys need to be able to kind of figure out where you guys might have holes, and then you lean on other people for that. So shout out people like Hamza, shout out people like Henry who are helping us with some of the content, because that's not our strong suit. And so it's been a very fun process in that sense. But then back to one of the things you said earlier, because I remember, again, you get a sample, it's exactly what you want it to look like. Yeah. It's funny how life works. I was wearing that shirt, my sample, and I was going to wear it out that night. I was like, okay, I have a birthday dinner, a pregame, and like I'm going to go to the club. And let's see what the feedback is like, because we were going back and forth about something. I was literally outside of my apartment waiting for my Uber, texting you about, let's see what feedback is like. I promise you, bro, I see a guy like walks up, he's like looking at me, and he's like, bro, I really like that shirt. I was like, thank you. I didn't even say it was my brand. I was like, bet, say less. Yeah. And then I get to the pregame, hella compliment to the shirt. We're like, okay, we got something here.
Some cooking. And the crazy thing too, bro, like, like we both be putting it on a little bit. So like I get compliments on clothing here, but with Reps Cap, it's like distinct.
Yeah.
Like, bro, I was walking back the other day, and when I called you, like, we need to order wear. Yeah. And I was like, bro, stop me. He said, yo, like, bro, that shirt is amazing. Where did you get it from? And I keep feeling bad. I'm like, bro, give us 2 weeks.
Give us a couple
give
weeks.
Us 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But no, even the point you made, bro, that was, I think, resonates with me heavily. Like, shout out Hamza, shout out Henry. It's like, alhamdulillah, it's such a blessing to have good friends. Because if you think about the weekend, we couldn't have done this without our friends.
Bro.
So on some real stuff, Hamza, like I hit him 2 weeks ago. My good man from Amherst, we was kind of running MSA, you know how that go. And I was like, yo, bro, like, can you please come to New York on his own dime? And yo, can you film some footage for us, bro? Like we're growing, like once we start scaling, but you know I got you, you're my God. Hamza doesn't even think twice. He's like, yeah, I'm coming. Drives down from Boston on Friday. He walks around the whole day with me and Flo and Henry, filming content, like just filming stuff, and he comes to the photo shoot. He's just like so locked in, but that's like from having good friends. Like it's a blessing from God to have good friends, and I think I tend to underestimate that because I'm just so used to it. But it's like really like a blessing put in your hand. And even we look at the photo shoot, all the models were just our guys from Princeton.
We only paid the photographer. Outside of that, it was all our friends. First of all, everybody in there should be modeling professionally. Yeah, we got some good looking friends, man.
Like, I be talking to Grant. I'm like, yo, like, what are you doing? Yeah. Like Bo, all those guys, and even like Quinn, like I even appreciate Reed. Everyone that came was just
Tatiana,
so helpful.
Ashley, everybody.
And we told them we'd get them food. We ain't even get them food. Yo, the terrace, bro. We cost cut.
I thought about that when it hit like 12:30, but we were like damn near done. I was like,
luckily they disbanded. So they were phenomenal, and I think that like I feel like a really strong connection to all those people that showed up for us. And in the future, inshallah, as Reps Caps gets bigger and bigger, those are the people I'm going to think about because like without them, we couldn't have done it. And the final point it's kind of an old point that you made. I just don't want to forget it. When we talk about Reps Capital, even beyond like reps in terms of like doing things to get better, it resonated with me heavily. And like that's when me and Flo kind of started talking. Like it really reminded me of kind of like an Islamic ruling. Like I'm Muslim, so things that I think about like reps are really repetitive and important in Islam. Like you pray 5 times a day, you know, like you do Ramadan every year, you go to gym on Friday, and those reps help you grow as a person and be a better person. So like this it's deeper than just clothing. It's deeper than just like a brand on a shirt.
It's a way of life. It is a lifestyle brand. That is what
it's a lifestyle brand because you can apply that everywhere. And like for me, Islam has been a great guidepost for me, like kind of like my North Star where I see the, like doing things over and over again gets you better. Even basketball, playing in college. To become a better shooter, you have to shoot every day, better ball handler, be stronger, be better at math or econ, whatever. You have to do it every day.
Yeah.
So I think that's why our brand really, we're trying to encompass that and want people like, yo, like, even if you're like a scholar of like, I don't know, like whatever studies you're doing, like it takes time to get there as long as you're committed to doing it. So that was a thought I had earlier that I didn't want to let escape me.
100%. Exactly. Nothing happens overnight. And then even back to the shout outs, because I think, again, we're giving out so many shout outs because you can just see how many people who helped us do this. Yeah. We're 2 people who've put a lot of time into this, but without everyone that we've tapped into, we wouldn't have been able to make this happen. Another perfect example, Amira.
Oh my God.
Bro.
Oh my God.
Amira. Amira, you are a legend. Another perfect example of, and this is so funny how things work, where obviously we have a budget for this, and there's things we are willing to pay for and we're happy to pay for. Yeah. But there's other things where if we can save money, we're going to do that. Yeah. And so we knew we had the photo shoot yesterday in the studio that shout out Omer. I was going to say, no, great. I don't know what I was about to say. It's hilarious. Omer, great, phenomenal photographer. I want to look up the name of his assistant who's also there because I want to shout them out. You'll see their work. I hope he gets all the business in the world. He is phenomenal.
We will use him for every drop.
Forever. Yeah, he's gonna be our guy. Like going forward, he's our guy. Vivian, shout out Vivian, Omer and Vivian. The quality of these pictures, oh my God. And also my mind is, you can see how excited it makes me. Like this is okay, I'll get to the photo shoot in a second, but Amira, bro. We knew we had that photo shoot in the studio, but a big part of this is going to be content, pumping out content, trying to get people to the page, which again, the strategy piece is a whole nother thing to try to think through because the clothing needs to be fire, but you need a fire content strategy. Absolutely. And so I just texted a few people like, oh, who knows a photographer who literally an hour or 2 casual chill, like help us just get some pictures. One of my boys, he connected me with one of his friends who's a photographer. And this isn't knocking the guy, but I like described what I was looking for. I was like 1 or 2 hours. He was like, is like $300. And again, I'm someone who I respect everyone's craft.
Yep.
And so I will never try to lowball you. And if that is what your price is, we just don't have that budget for this.
Sorry,
and we
buddy.
had like a short back and forth, but I made that point clear. Like, again, this isn't what we're looking for. You're legit at what you do. I'm not going to try to lowball you. This is fine. We just don't need to work together. Grant is like, oh, what about Amira? I hit her up. She is instantly like, I'm down.
Let's do it.
I'm excited. Let's do it. We get there, has the best attitude, super helpful, no complaints, literally just helping me walk around for an hour or two, get some great shots. She edits it. She gets it developed in like a day, sends it to me.
crazy work.
I'm like,
Beautiful.
so shout out to Amira. And you need people like that in your life who just believe in you.
Yep.
And yes, at a certain point, we'll get to a point, inshallah, where we're paying models, we're paying for all these different things. Yeah. But at the place we're at right now, we can't afford to pay no models.
In this economy?
In this economy? So the fact that we had 8 of our friends who were just very willing to give up their Saturday.
And just happen to be very good looking people.
They just are beautiful people.
Like mashallah, good
Gave up 4 or 5 hours on a beautiful Saturday to just help us out with our brand. Like, we don't take that for granted. We will never forget that. Again, when this brand blows up, like these are going to be the people we always tap into initially. If we need a photographer, it's going to be Omar.
Yep.
You know, Henry's going to be our guy going forward. Just don't always place the value on the monetary piece. I think, again, this is that idea of investing, because I truly believe this brand will grow and we'll be able to pay those people multiples of what we would have paid them.
No,
but they were just willing to help us. So,
and even like on the Amira portion too, like genuine people, like she did all that helping us, and she gave us some feedback that was hard to hear. Like a week later when we posted something, and that's when I knew that she was real.
Yeah,
I'm like, this woman is legit. Like, because a lot of people like, and I think growing up Nigerian, you're used to like your mom being like, you're stupid, you know, like, it's not like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're used to like that's the type of feedback. Like, I need to know if something's not good. Yeah. And so she let us know something that we posted was a bit funky or whatever. Yeah. And we like,
which we should talk about. We
took it to heart and we're like, thank you, Amir. Like you're so genuine that like, not only are you're spending your time on helping us, you're like spending like brain capacity looking into, what could be better. So people like that are always genuine, people that tell you the truth, like shout out like my siblings, my family, people that do that. We're like, it might not always be the best mode of communication, but it's one of the most helpful for sure. Yeah, yeah. And then that's another thing where don't lie to us, guys. If you think something's not fire, like we're obviously everyone's gonna have their own opinion, and at the end of the day, it's gonna be our decision. Yeah. But I am always genuinely curious about the way people think about things and what their feedback is, because that will matter. Because what she brought up was a good point. Good point. Yeah, and we should. I honestly, whatever. We'll talk about that after the fact. We'll take that off screen. We'll tell you. Yeah. But then really quickly on just manufacturers and that whole process. For anyone who wants to start a brand, Alibaba is going to be where you're going to find manufacturers. Definitely. You should probably use China, because there's a reason people use China. Yeah. They're affordable and they are good at what they do. And I think too, this is like, I'm not going to stop. I'm not going on a tangent. Like American propaganda, where like certain countries have like a negative connotation. Like people are like, China, like, yo, like don't get it twisted. All these big brands, like don't forget Ame. Like these guys, a lot of it comes from China, because there's actually like a study, and I can't remember what it was, but Chinese in China, they're like specialists. Like they do things really, really well. Like they're perfectionists. And I'll tell you a story. I think it was Hermes. They started a manufacturing plant in Texas. Mm-hmm. So they had Americans making their bags. After 2 years, the worst plant ever those are the worst bags ever created from Hermes. And they take them from China because they're really good at creating stuff. That's like, it's like competitive and absolute advantage. They just have it, you know? Yeah. So like when people are like, Alibaba, XYZ, like, yo, like, I'm telling you, you have to find the right manufacturer, because remember, it's always levels and scales. You find the right one that's consistent, like it's phenomenal. I'm telling you, go look at your guys' tags of your favorite brands. Everything's made in China. It's going to be made in China. And I agree. It is interesting. That's a good point about how people try to make that have a negative connotation. There's nothing negative about that. When I tell you, again, it still blew my mind how the measurements, something as simple as like measuring every single piece. I didn't even like make it look pretty. I literally sent a picture of like the tape roll on the shirt, and I was like 60 centimeters or whatever. I put that shirt, Or that was at the tailor shop? Because the pictures,
So
like
that
just
one
had
I
the
actually
thing.
did measure.
That was elite.
Because I did measure.
That was elite.
I had to verify the tailor for some reason. Because again, I've been a perfectionist
OCD guy.
about all these things. When I put that shirt on, I was like, how in the hell did they make this perfectly like I wanted? Just based off all. Obviously, I guess it makes sense with the measurements, but they're good at what they do.
Phenomenal.
So
Phenomenal.
but one thing again, a lot of diligence will need to go into the manufacturers.
Yeah, definitely.
If you know people who have brands, they might send you theirs. Some people are a little bit iffy about that, which I understand, so that's fine. But do a lot of diligence.
Yeah.
And honestly, with every part of it, I spoke to literally 8 photographers before settling on Omer.
Yeah.
You need to do your research and actually do the work. And
100%.
attention to detail matters. You can't really cut any corners. But then also just one last thing on China and manufacturers. I was like, what are the odds that I've never in my life needed to work with a Chinese manufacturer?
Ever.
What are the odds that the one time in my 25 years of life that I need to, Donnie Trump wants to put 125% tariff? I was like, this has
trolling, bro.
This had to be some sort of sick joke. And then funny enough, because now there's 4 manufacturers, we need to consolidate.
Quote,
bro.
You gotta read that quote.
Bro.
Yo, Flo's texted me. And the funny thing is that like the Chinese manufacturers are hilarious. Because I think sometimes we dehumanize people we can't see. We kind of put them as like, oh, like this is a worker. But like, yo, that person eats, drinks, sleeps, has feelings like you do. Like chop with them. Like that's why like when you see people anywhere, like have conversations, you will learn. Like Flo texts these guys like they're his mans. Like
bro,
they're the boy.
This guy is if I'm ever out
Look
there.
how much he's schooling. Look
bro,
how much he's schooling.
I'm literally, bro, some of it is like about the clothing. Some of it, we're just chopping it up. Bro, this was.
I don't want to get the quote wrong. That's why
I forget how it even came up initially, but we had been like going back and forth. Because the tariffs came up.
Yep.
Because the way it affected us was like some of our shipping costs increased a bit, but honestly not too crazy. But again, the fact that it was affecting us was kind of annoying.
Yeah.
But we're going back and forth, and then honestly, we're like, let's just have like a conversation about, let's get to know each other.
Yeah.
Because another thing, I think this whole like China-U.S. relations thing, our countries might hate each other. If I go out there and I chop it up with a Chinese dude, assuming we can communicate, I don't think he hates me. I don't hate him. At the end of the day, we're all just people. We have the same priorities. We care about our family. We're trying to run a business.
Yeah.
All these different things.
I think I'm going to China in October.
Love that.
Have y'all had Chinese food? It'd be so fun.
And so we're like going back and forth. And then he says a price for shipping. I was like, damn. I was like, is the custom fee the same? Some blah, blah, blah because of the tariff. I use the word tariff. He says, tariff. Maybe I should use his vocabulary because he kept saying like something, Claire Customs, blah, blah, blah. I was like, ha, ha, ha. Yes, tariff is what we use here. And I was like, yeah, Trump making business more difficult. He says, maybe he will change soon. I said, I hope so. He said, is it influence your daily life? I heard the egg price get higher. Bro, I was
That's
dying.
for sure.
I
Egg
was
prices
dying.
is up.
And I was like, yeah. And so this is the quote that you're talking about. I was like, yes, everything is more expensive, especially eggs. And then I said, he made a comment. He said, he being Trump, he was the first to start the trade war, and we Chinese don't provoke trouble, but we are not afraid of it either.
I was like hard body.
I was like, bro.
That sounded like a movie a line from like The Godfather movie.
Bro, and this is just a manufacturer in China. And he already has that mindset also. It's like, we do not create, we don't provoke it, but we don't run from it
We're
either.
not ducking smoke. That's what bro told us. We said we like working with you, bro.
Yeah, so shout out to them too, although we're paying them. But they're doing a great job as well. But okay, damn, time flies when you're having fun. Because
what time is it?
It's 11:53.
Oh my God.
I know we got a couple minutes left. But a couple quick things that we want to talk about that I think matter. Well, I don't know. Just something that is one thing that I've been doing throughout this whole process is just studying other brands and the way they do things. And you need to strike that balance of you don't want to ever copy. You want to get inspiration from. I'm just curious for you, who are some brands that you think are doing, whether it's their clothing, their content, their mission really well. Yeah. And it's kind of like that North Star for us. Because I think I have one or two I always think of, and we've spoken about it, but just more for the people.
Yeah, no, definitely it's a great question. I think, like you said, it's inspiration for your game. Like if you look at, let's certain NBA guys like Jason Tatum and Kobe, they're not the same player, but you get inspo, like Ant and Jordan, like you get inspo for some guys. And I think there's a couple brands, bro. I've really, growing up, there's one brand that like I think has been a household name forever. I think that type of infinite, like relevance is important, and I think it's Stussy. Like Stussy, they've done a great job of adapting. They had like a skater vibe. They had like household tees, and then they went into jeans and hoodies. And it's very simple stuff. But Stussy as a brand is almost like eternal. Like I had their clothes when I was in 7th grade. They had the tie-dye Stussy shirts, and I would have like New York, London, Tokyo on the back. Like that was my fit. I would put that on with some eggplant foam posits. And some skinny jeans. Yo, I was going crazy. So Stussy, I think they've done a great job of solidifying their brand and also like always doing them. Like they don't really get into fads or trends. They kind of put out the same stuff with different iterations, but it kind of seems like they're playing at their own pace. Kind of like Luka Doncic. When you watch him play, he doesn't ever seem sped up, even if someone's pressing him. So Stussy won. I went to Japan last year, which really changed my outlook on fashion. I think we have to go like at some point. There's 2 brands. One is called This Never That Tokyo, Romantic Crown 3 brands, and then Extra Large. Phenomenal job of fitting clothes. Like the clothes fit perfectly. And like the designs aren't anything crazy. I wear their stuff a lot. Like I think I actually got this from Japan as well. I wear their stuff a lot. And I think that those type of brands focus on, we know the market's oversaturated, but what's undersaturated, if that's a word, is how clothes fit you. Anyone could go out and buy like, I don't know, like, no, I love Kith Name, but go grab their stuff. But the fit may not be exactly what I want.
Yeah.
Those 3 brands, like I have a shirt from Romantic Crown. It's a Korean brand. Bravo. When I put on every time, I get happy. Like I get so happy. I think the final brand that I would say like really like speaks to me overall, and this is probably a bit subjective just because like whatever, is Supreme. I think even though they're going through like whatever, I think they're getting bought out or whatever, something like that. Their logo, like that red Supreme sticker, and even the fact that the sticker is cool, even though it's just a sticker, shows that like building a brand is way beyond the clothing. It's about the message you put out.
Yeah.
And we've talked about Reps Capital. Like, yeah, like Reps Capital is a cool name, but it's about the message behind it, like the substance there. Like we were walking by doing this filming content. I just saw Supreme on the wall. I just instantly thought like, yo, that's dope. It's just cool. I can have a Supreme sticker on my suitcase like Bozo, but still, I think those brands really speak to me. But I'm curious to see what you
Yeah, and that's been one of the more fun parts to me, is trying to think through these things and how to create something that will ideally live up to that one day. Obviously not today. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting how there's so many things you can pull from. There's unique parts about different brands and things you can pull from. So like the one Japanese brand that has the clothing fit really well. Maybe again, you said their designs aren't that amazing, but again, the fit is what you can pull from that. Yeah. For me, it's similar in the 2 brands that I'm thinking of, where one being essentials.
Absolutely.
And I remember I was watching a video that Grant sent. Why am I blanking on? I'm blanking on everyone's name. Who's the founder's name of Essential?
Essentials. Bro,
This is.
Come on, bro. The Fear of God guy.
Yeah. Joey Lorenzo.
Yes.
Joey Lorenzo.
Yes. That's
Jerry Lorenzo. Jerry Lorenzo. And he was saying exactly one of the reasons he started the brand and initially made that first t-shirt is he couldn't find a t-shirt that fit him the way he wanted to.
It's the fit, yeah, bro.
And he just went out and made one himself, and now they have some of the more comfortable clothing. But the thing that I love about them is just the way they've become this. They're an everyday brand now.
Everyday, yeah. Literally essentials.
It's an essential piece of clothing. And I'm always like paying attention to this thing so acutely since we started the brand. I like look at who's wearing what type of person is wearing what, especially when it comes to hats and all these things.
Yeah.
Everybody has essentials.
100%.
Everybody. And it's just trying to think through, how do you create a brand that gets to that point where it is literally an essential piece of everyday life? So that's the one. I love that brand for that reason, because they figured out a way to just become something that it's like a must-have piece. Everybody has a matching essential sweatsuit.
100%.
Everybody does. How do you get to that point? Trying to figure that out. And then ALD, I love. Yep. Not even because of their clothing, and I've said this so much, just their content strategy is just so pristine.
ALD's elite.
It's phenomenal. I've spent probably hours just on their Instagram. Yeah. Just trying to consume it all and trying to get some inspiration. And it just inspires you in different ways. And then it also makes you think like, how can people be this creative to come up with these different concepts? And then I try not to, again, you never want to copy. You always just want to get inspiration from. Yeah. So those two for those reasons. And then a third one actually that I'll say is this brand, Siegelman Stable. Have you heard of it?
I've not, no.
That's it. Again, they've like found their niche. They're not a household name yet by any means. I think they're on the way there, but I'm also curious if the founder, Max Siegelman, even wants them to be an everyday brand, because it's an if you know brand. Like everyone, I bet, I'm going to show you the logo. I guarantee you, walk around New York for a day, you'll see a lot of people wearing the hat. They have a classic hat that everybody wears. All the celebrities wear it. Steph Curry, Jalen Brunson was wearing their hat at the post-game conference after Game 6. Like, everybody wears their stuff. And the reason I love it is he's created this niche where it's like an if you know. The product is quality, their content is quality, their social media is quality. But he's just carved out this very quiet lane of like, if you know, you know. And now you're going to see people wearing that brand all the time.
Wow.
So
Siegelman Stables?
Siegelman Stable, yeah. They're very, very dope brand. And I actually that reminds me, I'll tell you the funny story after. I ran into him in Soho House.
Really?
And I got his number.
No way.
And because I want to like pick his brain about
stuff. Let's collab, bro.
And I need to text him after this because he had connected me with someone to set up the meeting, but that guy hadn't set it up. So now I'm gonna cut out the middleman.
Yeah, go straight
I got his
to
number.
Mr.
I'm just text him. So yeah, it's been fun just thinking and looking at things different. Like anytime I see people wearing things, I'm like, why do they have that on? What type of shirt? What type of hat? Especially with the hats. Like the hats I came up with the design for wasn't really that hard, but this is what we came up with. And I remember just because I was also like, what type of hat do I want to do? Yep. And then I would walk. Every time I would be on the subway, I'm like, what hats are people wearing? The people that are wearing this type of hat, are they someone that we would want to be wearing our brand? Are they like whatever aesthetic? And so it's just been a fun thought exercise to go through and like has had me look at the world in a completely different way.
I mean, I know we're running out of time here, but the point that you made like about like ALD kid, like elite, we're gonna go to Kith Treats today because I'm fiending for that.
Are we
milkshake?
Are we actually? Who's we?
Everyone, Hamza Bo Grant.
Oh,
let's go and check. We'll talk about that later.
Okay.
But I think like even earlier I said the fashion market is definitely oversaturated, but the reason why that's actually not a bad thing, usually when markets are oversaturated it's bad, is that there's like an economic theory that firms will continue to enter the market until profit margins are zero. Basically saying that if there's any way to grab positive surplus of profit, someone will come in. So if you're an ice cream guy and you're making a bunch of money, people are gonna see that business model, like, okay, I wanna be an ice cream guy.
Yeah.
Right? But the difference between ice cream is that like you can have some differentiation, but it's essentially a commodity. Like vanilla ice cream is vanilla ice cream. But with clothes, it's not a commodity. You can create a brand that is everlasting, just like Ame has done. Like you see the Ame brand on the hat or the tote, it's Elite, Kith, Supreme, all these other brands, where it's actually good with more entrants because you have like, for example, in shirts, you can never have enough tops. Like you might have be rotate like 5 or 6 pants, but like in tops, like you can get in someone's closet like with Reps Capital easily. Like, yo, that's a tough polo, I want it. That's a tough tee, I want it. And I think that seeing all these brands is very motivating, and it's like helpful. It's like, yo, like we don't all think the same way, but we're all looking at creating something that everyone loves.
Yeah,
and that may be in a different mode, like a Reps Capital tee, an Ame shirt, an extra large pair of jeans, you know. And to me, it's very beautiful. So like I respect every single creator. Like I don't care what people say about the brand. I respect you because going out on that limb and be like, yo, I have an idea, I'm gonna go execute it. That takes a lot of courage and kind of a lot of belief in yourself. You're investing in yourself doing 100%. It, you know? But yeah, that was the thought I had.
I like it. I like it. And I guess just where we can wrap this up is talking about some of the stuff that we have coming up.
Yep.
So right now we're recording this on May 18th. We'll probably we could discuss how we want to put out the episode and what clips we want to make and stuff. But we have a big plan we had a big photo shoot yesterday.
Yep.
We're aiming to have the website live June 1, and then launch weekend. Put it in your calendars, everybody.
Just lock it in.
Put it in your calendars.
Get your phone out.
Reps Capital launch weekend.
Put it in.
Stop what you're doing. Pull out Google Calendar. Pull out Apple Calendar, and put it all in there. Yep. So we're doing a pop-up. This is going to be June, was it 16th?
14th.
14th, thank you. See, this June 14th. It's going to be 11:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. probably. Location in East Village. We have it confirmed. We've confirmed.
We'll send out part of.
We're going to send out all that information, but it's just going to be a great opportunity to chop it up with us.
Yep.
The space we got is dope. So there's like couches. There's a ping pong table. Yep. It's a place. Don't think of it as a pop-up shop. Think of it as like you're coming to hang with us. Yep. You're coming to celebrate what we've been working on for the past 4, 5, 6 months. Even if you're not our homies, you're forced to be there.
Yep.
But I want to see people I don't know.
Yeah.
I want to be meeting
Make
people.
Some new homies.
Yeah, I want to be meeting people for the first time at this pop-up shop. So that's happening. And then that night, we're going to do a launch party to celebrate because it's been a whole long journey. And then the following day, we're going to do a 3-on-3 basketball tournament.
Come hoop.
With some special prizes.
Winner gets cash prize, maybe some merch.
We'll announce the location later, but it's just going to be a whole launch weekend, a lot of celebration just to, again, encapsulate all the work we've put in. And we're excited to see where this goes.
And this weekend it's for you guys, honestly, not us. Like, I feel like we've really, we want to celebrate all the work and stuff, but we really are happy to show you guys and get feedback and seeing other people in Reps Cap. I think I might cry tears of joy.
Me too. Our first sale, I'm like, our first sale, I'm gonna cry. Our first sale from someone we don't know, like that's not one of the homies. I might kiss that person.
Like when the person, I'm telling you, when he turned our notifications on and put it in his calendar, I was like, wow. SubhanAllah. I was like, wow.
Yeah. So I mean, I think do you have any? Well, actually, nah. My brain sometimes just doesn't function. I would say for anyone listening, use this as your inspiration to just do that thing.
Do that.
Just do it. Why not? What do you have to lose? Except maybe a couple $1,000.
Yeah. But also, like Flo said, life is short, man. Like if Flo called me and I was like, bro, no, right? Time would have went by. Like time doesn't wait for you.
Yeah.
It still would be May 18 today. Still wouldn't have a clothing brand. I still would be focused on work and school. Like, you can do much more than you think. 24 hours is actually a lot of time.
A lot of time.
So go out, do what you do. If you're gonna make a tough painting, make that painting.
Put the reps in.
You want to be like an HVAC person, be an HVAC person.
HVAC person.
Like, just do what you want to do.
Hell yeah.
And just
you want to do OnlyFans? Go do that.
I don't know about that. Look, he said that, not me. No judgment. But
hey, they got to put that work in too. It's such applicable to anything.
It's applicable to a lot,
You need to put the work in, but you need to get started.
Yep.
Before you can put 1,000 hours in, you need to put hour one in.
Absolutely.
And so this is what we're trying to inspire people to do.
Absolutely.
Shoot your shot, be the best version of yourself, and we're looking forward to see how this brand can grow.
100%.
My boy, great episode. Excited for this to launch and for people to kind of see what we've been working on. This has been another episode of Go With The Flow. Thank you for listening.
Yes, sir.